Hi Capricorn, welcome to your September and October 2017 Prosperity Report. It's Rena here. So this is a periodic feature that I do that's just focusing on money and career, or what I call abundance. And I want to start this reading with a quote by Jack Canfield. I think he wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. I'm not really up on him, but I just looked up quotes for law of attraction, and his came up. It says, the law of attraction states that whatever you focus on, think about, read about, and talk about intensely, you're going to attract more of into your life. And that only makes common sense. Because that is what your mind is set upon. A lot of people seem to think that there's some law that they have to watch television. You know, you don't even have to watch television if you don't want to, because I gave it up 8.5 years ago, and I will never go back. I will never go back to that because I knew that it was something that was being used to indoctrinate. And you might say to me, well, you're on the internet, so how can you act so holier than thou? And the thing about the internet is you do have more control over the material that you choose to click on, right? But I will agree with you that you have to be discerning. You have to realize that when you read a comment on YouTube or on Facebook about a particular issue, you don't know who that person is most of the time. And they could be paid, you know, to try to influence you. You never know. So you have to totally be shrewd about it and not just automatically assume that everything that you read is true or everything that's on YouTube is really what's happening. But overall, I feel that you do have more control and more freedom, therefore. But let's take this beyond TV and the internet and the media in general. What about your private life? Do you talk about lack to your friends and family? Do you complain about whatever your job situation is or your money situation? And how do you feel about your finances? I remember many years ago going to a law of attraction. I guess, I don't even know if they called it that back then, but it was like a prosperity seminar that was happening at my church. And I totally was not ready for it. But I do remember resonating with this idea where she was talking about, how do you talk about money? And she said something like, you know, kids grow up with their parents saying money doesn't grow on trees. And so they really have this, people in our lives really have this ability to kind of imprint upon us these attitudes. And she was talking about how influential it can be. And I like to think about this idea about money growing on trees. Because, you know, when you think about fruit growing on trees, a lot of people are so disconnected with the fruits and vegetables that they eat actually being plants. You know, you see it in the store and it's already in these little containers or in their separate bins. But we don't realize that these things grow. I was part of a community garden for more than 1 year, and seeing produce growing on the vine, for instance, it felt like a connection with money. It felt like this abundance, like life is just offering itself to us, and all we have to do is be open to it. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up to you. I'm going to do a simple 3-card tarot spread, and then I'm going to pick a couple of oracle cards. Maybe I should have 2 rows with the tarot and the oracles. Okay, this is from the Energy Oracle deck. Sandra Ann Taylor. Put that over here. And what else? What else should I do? Well, I have this Doreen Virtue deck. You may have heard that Doreen Virtue is denouncing her, or I don't know, I should probably watch her statement on it. But I guess she's not into the Ascended Masters anymore. You know, that's her right to change her course of action. And I don't have any problem with that. The only thing is, it's a little bit awkward here because I have her cards. So am I supposed to just act like the cards don't mean anything? I would like to think that her cards are apart from her in some way, that they have a life of their own now. So I'm going to pick from the Ascended Masters. Okay, interesting. I got Bridget, which I think is Gaelic, isn't it? Let's see what else. Put that here, just for... And I'm going to pick one from the Wisdom of the Oracle. Because they have special meanings for abundance. I mean, you know, that kind of thing. So, it's right up our alley. Wow, you know, this is a polar bear. I don't want to think about the snow yet because it's starting to get slightly autumnal. And, you know, this is a little bit a jarring image for me. But, oh well. Okay, so let's start with the tarot. And this is in the past position. Judgment. So, what you sow, so shall you reap. What have you sown? What seeds have you sown, Capricorn, that have led to this situation? This is a card about karma. And karma just means action. So, past actions equal present conditions. You know, a simple version of this is, oh, dang, I don't have any money in my wallet. Well, you just, you just blew all your money because you were gambling or because you were doing something foolish with your money. And that's why you don't have anything. I don't think that I have to lecture, you know, Capricorn about sound fiscal management because you have a lot of that. I think that for some people this may even be like a legal judgment of some sort that has impacted your finances, either divorce or inheritance issues or other kinds of, you know, litigation. Okay, so I will assume that, and you know, in some cases it could be poor judgment on your part in terms of who you trusted. If it was a partner, maybe not a married partner, but somebody along those lines. And now there's a sense of guardedness. This is a card, the Nine of Wands, of like having your backup, being very wary. And I would guard against this, pardon the pun, because if you were burned by somebody and now you've got your backup, that can lead to other blockages, you know, and this happens quite frequently in life where you get burned by someone or something, and then you turn around and you overreact, and then you become too much the other direction, and then you end up, there's not a flow anymore. So the law of attraction, I always call it the flow. And it's like things are flowing to me, and when they're not flowing to me, I ask myself why. Why aren't they flowing to me? Is it energetic? You know, this Mercury retrograde that we are currently in, or at least when I'm recording it, you might be watching it some other time, ends on September 5th, but it's going to take a couple weeks after that for it to get back up to speed. these things, I have observed them. Or Jupiter retrograde, because I'm a Sagittarius and my ruler, the ruler of my sun sign is Jupiter. These kinds of things, and you could see it if you're Capricorn Saturn. By the way, Saturn is currently in Sagittarius. Okay, so that's your 12th house. Your ruler is in your 12th house. So it's really, you may be feeling like this intensity of your psyche being kind of like picked clean to the bone. When Saturn goes into your sign at the end of the year, you may actually feel lighter because you're going to have your ruler in your first house, and you know how to handle this better than most. So it's going to be kind of like a homecoming, I think, for some of you. But there maybe that judgment card is talking about Saturn in the 12th house, and perhaps it's affected you in many areas of your life, and you're like, why me? Oh yeah, I just thought of something. Pluto is in Capricorn, so there you go. You do have Pluto in your sign, and soon you're going to have Pluto and Saturn both in your sign. It's going to be quite interesting. But the thing is, Pluto is karmic, okay? So what can you do if something is karmic? Well, I think the best thing you can do is surrender. And that's not Capricorn's way of going about things. You're a cardinal sign. It's like, there's got to be something I can do about this. No, sometimes you just have to, it's not about quitting. It's about accepting, and there's a big difference. So see if there's anything in your life that's happening that relates to your money, or relates to career matters perhaps, where it's been kind of like, what's going on here? I don't seem to, things seem to keep happening and I can't control them. Then don't try to control them. Go with the flow more. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe in the past it worked to kind of beat life over its head, but now it won't. And so when you notice that the pattern isn't working anymore, then you kind of have to stop it. What's coming up for you is the Ten of Wands. So I think you're going to be really working hard. So that might be good if you felt like a slowdown. You have to worry, you have to be aware that if you're working too hard, it can lead you to burnout, and that's totally nonsensical, because then you won't be good at all. So be balanced even if you are working harder. But this is, I have a tarot book that's really good if you want just like concise keywords, and I always retain his keywords. Anthony Lewis, Plain and Simple, Tarot Plain and Simple, and he calls this the burden of success. So if anyone can handle, the burden of success, it's Capricorn, because you are hard workers and you do care about success, but just make sure that you are not draining yourself. So let us look at the tarot. This is the Energy Oracle card. We have 22, which is a master number, building number. Very good, yin and yang. But I like the number 22. And, oh yeah, the 22nd of September is the date that we have the equinox. So that could be maybe a shift for you in some way. For you, what house is that? You know what? If that's when the sun goes into Libra, and guess what house Libra is for you? That's your 10th house of career. So there you go. This card represents energetic life cycles, and its purpose is to help you identify the particular cyclic energy moving into or out of your experience. Oh, by the way, the key words are passive and active, intuitive and logical. You as a Capricorn are a yin, a feminine, okay, because the earth and the water are feminine, and the fire and the air are masculine. So yin is passive, okay, and it's intuitive. It's in its upright position. It heralds a yin cycle where most of the action seems to be happening under the surface of things. And of course, this is going to be the last stretch of, Saturn in your 12th house, which is a passive, internalized house, the house that Pisces rules. This is a time of great receptivity, intuition, and gestation. External circumstances may be forcing you to go within and examine present activity. It's an especially good time for completion, so wrap things up. Yin cycles often call you to be passive, yielding, and reflective, so open up to these sides of your nature. Being more than acting is the intention here. And, this is kind of what I was getting at when I was saying, this idea of trying to control what happens to you is sometimes being active is exactly what you need to do. But sometimes the universe is going to force you to be more receptive. And you will just meet with all of these closed doors. And the person who is wise is not rigid and says, I'll just kick in the door. No, the answer is to say, why are all these doors, why are all these avenues closed to me? There must be some reason why I'm not meant to do this thing. I'm not saying you say that after the first time. I'm talking about if it happens over and over again, you kind of sense a pattern. And some people are very unaware of themselves, and so they just keep trying to force things. Okay, so now we have Bridget, Inner Strength. Let me see. It's funny. I hope I have the right booklet here. Oh, is this, I wonder if I've even got the right book. I have to see, it's so funny. You know what? Well, this is what's meant to be, so I'm not going to change things. For some reason, I drew a card from the other deck, which is the Keepers of the Light. So I'm going to go with that. Well, this is life. And I like to just go with what is in front of me. Okay, so Bridget means it got mixed up in my deck. Can you believe it? It says, move back to wholeness. Recognize that you have the power. Inner strength. So another card about the inner workings of the person. Bridget is a Celtic goddess of Ireland who is closely associated with fire in the time of spring. Well, if you're in Aussie land, then you're going to have spring on the 22nd. She is the twin flame of, oh my God, Cernunnos, I think. She was so well loved by the Celtic people that when Christianity came to Ireland, she was adopted as a saint of holy wells and other holy places. She is a powerful figure who can help us channel our energy into something that is important for our growth. And as she herself has lasted through the ages, she adds longevity to our journey so that we can reach a deep state of wholeness. You can call on her to bring her sacred flames to burn away anything that's not serving you, to bless any new projects you have in mind, and for support with fertility. And I would just add that fertility can be your creativity. Don't think of it just as, giving birth. Your spiritual fire is growing within. Recognize that the power of your soul is greater than you think. You have come a long way since you began this journey. There's a powerful force within you, and you have the ability to create wonderful changes in your own life and inspire those around you to do the same. Be aware of new projects, opportunities, and fertile ideas that can grow into something larger than you may imagine. Call in the fiery goddess Bridget to light the way ahead. Well, that's pretty awesome. And then we have a leg up, 34, the Energy Oracle deck. Let's see what that one says. Oh gosh, see, I'm knocking over all of my decks. I got them all stacked up here. Let's see. Receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. You've come to the point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. The prosperity message in this card is that now is the perfect time to seek advice from a mentor or business advisor who has been where you want to go to help you get there too. If you do, you will receive very good counsel that will aid in your prosperity. It may be also the case that your endeavors have grown and you are in a position where you just can't do it all yourself anymore. Time to bring on those who can give you a leg up. Trust that help is available and will indeed appear. Delegate authority to those so that you can take steps towards your big dream. The perfect people will arrive at the perfect time so long as you step forward with just a mustard seed of faith. And when I read the word delegate, I didn't have like necessarily a good feeling. You know, I can appreciate if you as a Capricorn are self-reliant. And I think that being self-reliant is really a good thing. Being dependent creates too much of a need for something outside of yourself. So I would say either if you need help because something is too massive, or maybe you are spread too thin. So maybe that's why you might need help, and possibly whatever it is that you're doing, maybe it has kind of like expanded to the point where it really doesn't serve you. Because sometimes you can expand, but then you need to hire, you know, more people, and then that takes away from your resources. So it really doesn't benefit you, and it stresses you out more. More is sometimes less is more, and creating peace of mind for yourself can also be helpful when you feel like, you know, everything is so complicated. Simplifying one's life sometimes is the answer. But yes, definitely having the ability to ask for guidance and to, you know, for somebody that you really respect and you trust, of course, is always a good thing. And so I wish you all the best in the next couple of months. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you'd like a private reading, I do have career readings. I have life path readings, which are kind of more on the philosophical side, but they also do touch upon the practical matters as well. And even natal chart interpretations. I have lots of different things. You can go to rainandmoonastrology.com, and the link is below. Take care of yourselves. Bye.